Hello. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another amazing, exciting, extravagant stream with me, Heather. Hi. If you haven't been on my streams before, I'm Heather. I'm from the internet, and I do characters. I do character work. So I do character art, stylized stuff, all of those goodies. You might have seen me streaming here before. You might have seen me over on Firestorm Studio streams. You might have seen me on the internet. I don't know. I'm all over the place. Hello. Hi. Hi, guys. I'm really nervous about streaming today, and I don't know why. I don't know why. I have a very big nervousness. My energy is very nervous today. I don't know. Maybe I had too much coffee or something. But we are gonna make the most of it. Hello, my diva. Hi, Nat. How you guys doing? So yesterday over on Firestorm Studio streams, I was doing retopology because this week is all about retopology. So I did some retopology on the first weapon for this character that we're busy working on. We've been working on it for eternity. But we're now going to be doing ZBrush retopology. And what's really fun about doing ZBrush retopology is that I can't remember how to do ZBrush retopology. So we're gonna learn together. I haven't done any ZBrush retopology since it first came out. And I have the memory span of like a very, very small fruit fly. So I've definitely forgotten how to do most of this, and it's going to be an interesting thing to see what we can achieve with it. We are going to be pushing to retopologize most of this, or as much of this as possible, into one piece. We want it to be for a game, so we want to optimize as much as we possibly can. And yeah, let's get into retopology. So when you are looking at something that you want to retopology, disgusting. I know, right? I know. But I need to do it. I need to do retopology. I need to do it because I have been procrastinating about finishing off pieces that I've been working on. So last week on the stream here, we wrapped up like the final details on these weapons. Now we're going to do the retopology. I should have them UV'd and ready to go, and then I will continue working on this over on the Firestorm streams, where I'll be doing the texturing, posing, rendering, crap. All of that stuff. And yeah, I'm trying to wrap up all the characters that I've got going, because I've currently got like 4 that I'm working on, and it's getting... I think that's the root cause of my anxiety. So we're going to try and finish... We're going to finish what we started for a change. Miraculously. So when you are looking at retopology, things to keep in mind is... What are the things to keep in mind, Heather? You should know this. Things to keep in mind are... How many UV tiles are you going to break it up into? How do you want your texture sets to look like? Because we're going to go with texture sets rather than UDIMs because it's for a game. The other thing that we're going to look at is anything going to be incredibly difficult to work with? For example, the retopology over here of getting down into this little crease in that little crack and then across and then back up and up the other side is going to be an absolute nightmare. It's going to be very, very unpleasant to try and work with. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to adjust this just so that it's a little bit easier for me. Because it's just a weapon, it's only going to have one singular tile. It's not going to be split across many things. If it was a great big piece and we were going to split it into multiple tiles, I would look at like splitting the leather apart from the metals, so on and so forth. But we're not going to do that. We're just gonna pray for it and hope that it works. You like to do retopology a lot. It's a fun part of my day when I do retopology. I like retopology. I like retopology. I'm going to say that now, and feel free to set a clock and place your bets how soon I start saying that I hate retopology. Because I always start off with like, I like retopology. Retopology's fun. And then I get into it. I'm like, I hate this. Everything is bad. But hopefully this time it'll be different. This time will be different. Because we're going to do this nice and easily in ZBrush. And we love ZBrush, so it should be fine. Right? Right? Right. So I'm just going to start moving things around a little bit. Unfortunately, I don't have dynamic on this, which is a shame because it would make this a lot easier. I think I've already, yeah, everything's kind of already split out. But it's fine. We'll just run a polish crisp edges on there, make sure that it's kind of neat and tidy, and kind of get on with it. So yeah, what are you guys up to? What have you been working on? What haven't you been working on? What's your favorite thing at the moment? Tell me all about what you guys are up to. It makes me happy to listen to what you guys are doing. Ooh, look, I was really clever. So we already have symmetry on. Symmetry is applied, which is wonderful. And now theoretically, I don't know if we have to merge everything down into one thing or not, but we'll find out. So retopology brush. Yay! Oh god, everything just froze. It's thinking. I'm scared. It's going to be really upsetting if 10 minutes into the stream everything crashes and I'm like, well, that's the end of that stream. It's thinking. It's still thinking. Oh, it's alive. It lives. It lives. It lives. That's nice. That makes me feel pretty good about things. It takes up a lot of space here. I don't want all of that space taken up. Do I have to have this menu? Do you need to be there? I need a bigger screen. Anyway, do I need to merge everything into one? Yes. Do I need to merge everything into one tool is the main question of the day. Oh, no, you don't. Ooh. Ooh, that's fun. Cool. Good to know. Is it just me or is this brush like enormous? Why is my brush enormous? That was odd. Okay, let's try this again. Actually finished a piece I've been working on for months in ZBrush and Blender. Was hesitant to post it, but so far got 250 reactions on ArtStation. Congratulations! That's so cool. Really, really cool. That's really, really nice. Good job, man. Like, it's not easy these days to get that level of a response. That's really, really good. Unless you straight up created like a girl that's got no clothes on, in which case 250 is lowballing the numbers. Right, how do we do this? I can't remember. Is it? No? Ah, it is. Ah, I'm a genius. I remember the last time that I was playing in this, I really enjoyed working in the... Oh god, you've got to increase the size of your thing. Where's brush size? Ooh. I remember this being annoying. How do you increase brush size when you're running in retopology? Oh look, I didn't have symmetry on. Awesome. Really awesome. Let's go back. I had symmetry on. What happened to it? Yo, this is so slow. Oh, it is struggling. Oh god, I think I've broken it. Happy ZBrush stream. It's always when I'm on a live stream that I manage to break things as well. Oof, laggy. It might just straight up be because it's got 11 million polys. That's probably the main cause of everything. My computer is not a beast and it's probably struggling a wee bit here, but we'll see. We'll see if we can get it to work. If I can't get it to work, if it keeps being like laggy and slow and stuff, what I'll do is I'll just decimate things down a whole pile so that it's not quite so intensive. In the meantime, let's switch on some... Let's switch on our... symmetry. Yay, symmetry. Right, hopefully now it's actually going to do what I want it to do. I'm really nervous. Really nervous. I haven't been this nervous on a ZBrush stream since I first started doing ZBrush streams. I think it's because I'm not sure that this is going to work. Normally I'm pretty like confident about what I'm doing, and this one I'm like, Hello from Arizona. Oh my god, I love Arizona. It's so pretty out there. It's so beautiful. Hot, but beautiful. Like, it's just so nice. Why is this so painful? Why is this so painful? Oh, it's so annoying. How do I increase brush size with this? You know what? If you want to be difficult, we're going to do it the other way. What is it? Alt to extrude a point? Yay! Interesting. Hi guys. How's everyone doing? What you all up to? Thanks for coming to hang out. Welcome to me crash coursing myself through doing retopology in ZBrush. This is not my normal workflow, so bear with me. How do I want to insert an edge like that. Yay! I did it right. Everyone should be cheering for me right now. I feel so unconfident working in this. Why do I do this to myself? Why do I decide that streaming my failure is the best way to do things? There's a random face in here. I don't know what that guy is. It's giving me a bad feeling though. I'll fix that later. I definitely feel like I don't have the same level of finesse in ZBrush, doing retopology in ZBrush, as I do in Maya. But that's just because I'm more familiar with Maya, to be honest. Let's see if my skill level improves as we go through this. Oh. I will say, it is not a huge fan of you using Control-Z. Every time I Control-Z something, it's just like, please God, why are you hurting me? When I retopologize, I use Blender. Many add-ons making it more relaxing for me, but ZBrush ZRemesher. Ah! No. Don't. No. ZBrush ZRemesher, no. Ew. Don't use that for retopology. Well, do, but only if you're going to put like proper guides and stuff in place. Otherwise, it's just going to be a big spiralized mesh full of like circles. And you're going to have a bad time. This is very annoying that I can't get it to do the thing. Why won't you do the thing? No. Yeesh. Yeah, it really doesn't like it when you Control-Z. Control-Z does not work very well for it. That's not the button that I needed. It just doesn't believe in doing Control-Z. It's like that. I don't know what undo means, man. That was weird. And it's still not wanting to do that. Not the best demonstration of using a tool when it all starts going wrong, hey. So we should be able to just clear all our mouse points doing that. That would be good. Yay! There's still some weird stuff going on inside here though. Like something weird is happening inside there. I don't know, maybe it's just because I can see through to the other side of it, so it looks weird. It is filling me with bad juju at the moment though. Let's see if I can fix the bad juju. Oh, that wasn't what I meant to do. Oh god. Every time I press Ctrl Z, everything lags. Why you don't want to connect? So far, not loving it. Let's see. Let's see if I can get it to do things that I want it to do. It's definitely just like me and user error. Yeah. We are learning. We are learning. Oh, no. We are learning and we are messing up royally as we go. Oh. Ah, I forgot that that's not symmetrical. Shit. Okay, we'll have to come back and do that without symmetry. Oh, what's if possible? Hello, I'm recently learning how to use ZBrush and I'm trying to make a dragon, and on the belly it has a layered scale pattern and I wish I knew how to make. Could you show me how? I can show you how. Give me a few minutes and then I will do that for you. I just wanted Karen messing around with this and then we can mess around with that as well. By all means, because I'm gonna get annoyed with this pretty soon, so we'll move on. We'll move swiftly away from doing retopology. Oh, that's awful. That made me sad. Let's see. Interesting. So far, I think I need to, like, practice this a lot more. I have not worked out the finesse that comes with using this tool. There's a lot of people making dragons at the moment. I've got like 2 students at the moment that are both working on dragon sculpts. Is it just because House of the Dragons is in fashion again? Why is everyone making dragons? I saw Ashley making dragons as well, actually, so even more people. This is really annoying. How do you increase the brush size? Well, we're getting partial retopology out of this. This one does not spark joy. Oh, hello. Hard surface is your biggest concern right now on ZBrush. Oh, hard surface is fun. Don't worry. Hard surface is nice. You just have to learn how to use the Z modeler brush. The Z modeler brush will make your life a whole lot better. It is a very, very useful brush. I feel like there's a lot of little spaces that I'm gonna have to go back and like fix possibly in my spare time. I mean, it does feel nice. Like, that's the thing. This brush feels really nice to work with. I like how it snaps. And with that, it snaps to the wrong thing. I like the way that it snaps. It's like, it's quite well thought out in that regard. I think there's some things that, yeah, I think a lot of it is just user error because I'm not used to using it. How do I do this? That way. Yay. Yay! We added extra points into it. We're so clever. We are getting somewhere with it, so that's a... Oh god, I think I've just crashed ZBrush. Nope, I haven't crashed ZBrush. Life is good. Life is still good. We are not in a bad place just yet. Dragons are cool. Yeah, actually, that's fair. Maybe I should make a dragon. I have never made a dragon. I need to make a dragon now, obviously. The funny thing is that when people, like my friends, ask me what I do, like what is my job, the easiest way to explain them, like, yeah, you know, dragons? Yeah, I make dragons. It's easier than trying to explain everything else that I do. Oh, I think we're getting the hang of it. Yay! I can learn. I'm learn. Mess with ZModeler, definitely not a fan. Oh, guys, no. ZModeler is lovely. It's so much fun. Okay, all right. I'm not loving this, so we're gonna do a ZModeler thing instead of playing with retopology. My will to retopologize is running slim. We lasted 26 minutes into the stream and I've already lost the will to do retopology. Who had 26 minutes as their bet? Who was the one that managed to win today's bet of when will Heather get bored of doing retopology? Something's gone wrong there. Things are going weird. Hey, feels so good. Nice to see you, darling. How are you? How have you been? I haven't seen you in a while. Ugh. Ugh. This is not working the way that I wanted it to work. Ugh. Alright. Right. We managed half an hour of retopology. I'm over it. I'm bored now. Eh. Ugh. The struggle bus is real. Boo. Go back. It really doesn't love it when I hit undo. ZBrush is the weirdo of the 3D pack? How dare you? ZBrush is wonderful. ZBrush is my favorite software. And I'm not just saying that because I'm on a ZBrush stream. ZBrush is my absolute favorite. I love working in ZBrush. It's so much fun. Like, it's just such a fun software to use because there's so much you can do with it. There's so many different aspects to it and so many different things you can play with and just different ways to solve different problems. And I love it. I think it's really good software. I really enjoy it. But other people feel differently, and I understand that. So I'm here to make things better and easier for you, and in just a second I will switch over to a different thing and we can have a look at doing... What do you want to do? You want to do hard surface? This is just turning into an AMA session. We can do some hard surface work. We can do some scaly work. We can do some Z-modeler brush work. Can mess around with that sort of stuff. What do you guys say? It's not a bad stuff. It is, I mean, weirdo? We're all weirdos here. You're weird. I'm weird. If you're an artist, you're going to be weird. It's just how it is. For the great big patterns of it all, like the big sections, it's really nice working in ZBrush for the retopology. The finesse bits, I think I need to like spend more time practicing, because I think that's a skill issue more than a software issue. Just before anyone goes like, oh no, it didn't work. Like, it definitely does work. It's just, I just did it badly. Yeah, I mean, like, in no time at all, we've managed to get a start on the retopology, which is pretty cool. Interesting. Interesting. Let me see. Let me just save this and then we can go play with other things. Start with scales. Yeah, okay, alright. We'll play with some alphas. Alright, guys. I'm going to open up a different file. While I find a different file to open up, give me 2 seconds and I will be right back. Don't go anywhere. Get your questions ready. We're going to play AMA. I need to update the stream to just say AMA. But yeah, we can play with things. Give me a sec. Hola, I have returned. So I'm just busy opening up the project that we were working on previously, because I think that's quite a fun one to work with, if I can find it. It's opening on one of my screens. Bear with. Bear with. Hold on. Just keep holding on. Keep holding on. Hey, Sir Alan. Hello. How you doing? Right. Let's play with things. Yay, we got a guy to play with. Nice. So, first questions first. We wanted to look at doing scales. For scales, your best bet is probably going to be something along the lines of using alphas. And you can buy, get, acquire, download alpha packs from ye old internet. Or you can buy scale brushes, which come with the alpha like preset, and you can drag and drop scales in there. I don't think I've got any scales that are preloaded into here yet. Yeah, I don't have any scales, but I do have clumps, which is very similar. So you can go ahead and get yourself something like a scale tool to do this with. I'm going to just append a sphere. Oopsie. Append a sphere. It always starts with appending a sphere. So like that. Give it a little bit of stuff to work with. And yeah, if you get yourself something, all this is you're taking an alpha and putting it into a drag and drop. So you can make your own brush, really, if you find the right alpha for it. But if you get something like this, just to overlay it and overlay your scales, it takes a bit of time and energy to make sure you're dropping them in the right places, as you can see. But you can get something that works quite well to just stack up all those scales that you're going to be working on. If you're doing it... I'm just trying to think of how to phrase this. Are you doing this? Is it going to be like a stylized dragon? Is it going to be a very detailed dragon? What sort of level of detail are we going for with this guy? What are we doing with it? What is the point? Can I pass a link of my reference? I don't know if we can load any links on here, actually. I have no idea how to get images across to one another, unfortunately. But yeah, so you could do something like that with alphas, or if you wanted to do something where you had a little bit more control over it, you could literally sculpt your scales in. So you could do had scales somewhere. I know I had a scale brush, but I think I've lost it. But you could do something where you like, you're sculpting details in and then kind of going in with hard polish just to flatten it out and creating scales manually. I would not go this route because honestly, like, that takes way more effort than just doing a drag and drop on it. You could also do something with masking, like depending on what sort of scales you're doing and what the shapes are, you could just like mask out what your scale is. That is a scale. Do something like that. But then you're going to sit there for days doing something like this. If you do something with masking where you're pulling and pushing things around and you find like it's pulling on the wrong side and you don't want it all the way there, what's useful to do is before you do that, you can say store morph target. And then that way when you pull things, if you pull out the wrong bit, once you clear it out, you can just go to your morph brush. And the morph brush basically works as an eraser. So it'll take it back to where it was when you stored that morph target, which gives you a bit more control to play with things if you needed to. The other way, okay, so if you want to share a reference with me, come on into my Discord. Give me a second, I will send you a link to the Firestorm community. Come and say hi in the Discord there and you'll be able to drop it into the chat and I'll be able to see it. Give me one sec, let me find you a link. I'm just making sure it's the right one. Yeah. So there you go. Yay. Yeah, the morph to store morph is great. Storing your morph target is awesome. It's a very, very useful thing, especially if you're not sure that you're going to do good. So if you're worried that you're going to like screw something up, if you just store the morph target, it gives you the ability to then just go back on it. So likewise, if we store the morph target and we've got a morph target that's been stored, if we now go in here with our brush and add details, you can go in here and do that. And if you find it's not working out for you, you can just go back with the morph brush and kind of tidy it up and fix the area that you don't want. So you can customize. Woo! Shiny. It's also useful for if you're doing like cracks. So I use it a lot if I'm doing like damage, wear and tear on things. So if you're doing big chunks of damage on something, I don't know, bear with me guys, this is really, really rudimentary stuff that I'm busy masking. This is not going to look glorious, it's just to get the idea across. So if we were making a big old crack that ran like a shape here for it. Ugh. I say that and then I promptly go in and like start detailing it. Okay, let's pretend that's a crack, right? So if we invert our mask, you get something like that. Yay. But then if you go into your morph, you can then restore that so that it blends it in a little bit better. Happy days. And that is a morph target. Do you need a high poly surface for this? For doing these guys, yeah, you do. You're gonna need it. The higher your poly count is here. So if we go to 2 million. Yes, I know. If you, yeah, it'll lose the morph target when you do that, by the way. But if we go to a really high setting, so we now got 2 million, now we're going to get really nice clean details that come out with it. If you're doing something like this with the drag and drop brushes, you can also increase your intensity, which will just give you a a bigger result. So you can see, like, it pulls out more. So play around with your intensity as well to get different results on it. I'm sure I had a scale brush in here. I'm surprised I don't have one. Ah, there we go, scales. Haha! Haha! Scales. Whoa, not like that. That was terrible. Yeah, you can do scalies. Depends on what it is. Like, if it's a realistic dragon, I would go for something that's a little bit more handmade and hand done. I saw Jared Chavez, I can't pronounce his surname. He was doing some scales the other day on one of his reels, and it was really, really nicely done. So I would go and check out his references for it. But if you're doing something that's just a stylized dragione, then I would just grab myself some of these. Like, I think there's also some preset brushes inside ZBrush that you can use for it. I can't remember actually if there aren't. There should be. But yeah, the more high poly your surface is going to be, the better your detailing is when you're using alphas, because it's trying to pick up on, like, obviously you've got the black and white. So if it's white, it has. If it's black, it doesn't have. And then that's what it's trying to gather and put that information across. So the more detail, the more space for details it's got, the better it's going to be. So you can do something like that for it. That would be fun. Ooh, references. Nice. Let's see. Oh god, everyone joined. Hi guys. Yay. All right. Oh, it's beautiful. It's coming on so nicely. Do you mind if I show everyone? Am I allowed to show people on the screen? Are you going to be bummed if I show people on the screen? It looks really good though. It's coming on really nicely. I like the way you've been doing it. I think that you're onto a really good start. What's different about the reference, so this is his reference over here. This is the reference that he's doing. What is different about yours to the reference is that I would do these as individual plates, and I would rather extract them out. So if we make a dragon, we're going to make a dragon. Let's make a dragon. I'm just going to append a new sphere. Gonna have all of the appended spheres in here. So if we were making it, if I was making a dragon, what would I do? Got to think about this now. Let me have a nice surface to work on. That's going to be our dragon's neck. Can you tell? Does it look like a dragon to you? Right, that is a dragon's neck. In case you couldn't tell what it is definitely a dragon's neck. It is nothing else. So we're going to add some subdivision levels to it. What I would be doing if I was doing these scales here, these guys, I would actually make the individual scales and then overlap them. So you could do something like, oh, I've lost my pen. So if we did something like, oh, I shouldn't have done it in this way, symmetry, but anyway. Let's do, ah, wrong way. You're not giving me symmetry? Why? Oh, because it's not symmetrical. Guys, it's not my best day for this. It's not my best day. Let's go to deformation. Let's just unify it. That should put it into world space 0, and that's going to give me symmetry back. So, if we were going to be doing those scales, I would get a fairly decent poly count going. And then I would not do that. I would start by just masking out the areas that I want and say, like, this is going to be one of those scales. I don't know. Oop, that's not it. How did they do them? They just went that way. So when you're masking like that, oh, okay, since we're doing AMA stuff, let's do a little masking tip. If you are busy masking, and you mask like this, and you can see, like, I have to really press to get it to do something. If you're masking like that, go to your preferences, go to tablet, switch off use tablet, and then that way you're just going to get straight lines. It's just going to be, all of them will be the same level of density. So we do that. And then if we go down into masking, we can say mask by region, auto region, and it'll grab the whole thing for me. I'm just going to switch my tablet back on because I'm going to forget otherwise. And then I'm going to go into my extractions, do 0 extraction, accept. And then I am a sucker for tidying up my mesh when I do things like this. So I would definitely go in and start like tidying things. So from here, you can then shape out, get the general design of your scale going so that you know what you're doing. Go into the ZModeler brush, our favorite. ZModeler brush. Woohoo! And from the ZModeler brush, I'm actually just going to drop this all the way down. I prefer working on low poly and then building it up. So we're going to go there. We're going to say extrude polygroup all. Extrude. Extrude. Actually, I'll do it this way. Extrude twice. Drag out once. Go there. I've got it on insert. Holding down Alt so we get a negative insert. I'm going to remove that line so it collapses down on itself. And there, so we've got the basic of a scale. This is a very basic scale. Just trust me, it's a scale. Just don't argue with me. It's definitely a scale and nothing else. So you're going to pull that out, maybe sharpen it out so it actually looks like a scale. And then you could either, hear me out, we could either go ahead and manually create our line. We could manually put it all together, or you could do something, you could probably do something with array mesh rather. So you could take one and go like, okay, duplicate. Let's switch everything else off. So we just got these guys duplicated, press W, move it down. Oh. You go there. And then just kind of manually position if you wanted to. So you could do something like that, which would give you that same layered stacked effect that you've got with it. Where is it? Where is it? Where's it gone? Where's my reference gone? This guy. So yeah, because you can see there's meant to be space in between there. So you could put spaces in between there. The other option that you could do is if you took this, bear with me, I'm probably going to get this very wrong to begin with. Let's delete this one. And we're just going to work with this guy for now. And then if we go to array mesh and we switch on array mesh, and let's say we're repeating it like, I don't know, 6 times. Woohoo! So we're going to say 6 times, and we are going to, what are we going to do? We're going to offset it, and we're going to offset in the, I can never remember which axis it's going to be, but not that one. There we go. So you could do something like that. And then if we rotate it, actually we could just do this. Oopsie. Yeah. And then you're going to get that sort of shape. So if you get the sort of shape that you're going with, and then say make mesh, and then go into your, start with the taper menu. So we'll start with the taper, and we'll just make this a little bit more narrow towards the top, where the top of the neck's going to be, and then we're going to say accept. And then from here, we could say bend curve. Add in some extra points. Then you could just bend curve, fit it to where the neck needs to be. Ta-da! Yay! Can I repeat that? I can. Roll back the stream and watch it again. Yay! I'm glad you think that's awesome. It is fun. Array mesh is a really fun thing to be playing with. I've been playing with it more recently. So to get it to angle the way that I did, when you're working with an array meshes are great. They're really, really fun. When you are working with an array mesh, what you are doing is creating it's not just creating a duplicate, it's creating an instance of the same thing. So I'll show you that again. It's no problem at all to do all of that hard work. It took 10 minutes. Can I go back on this? Let's go all the way back to the start. Zoom. Okay, so we created our basic scale shape, and that's our basic scale shape, right? We then went down. Everyone ready? Everyone following along? Everyone ready? Go into your menu, under tool menu, go to array mesh. Under your array mesh, you are going to set your repeat value. The repeat is how many of them you're going to create. So if you set 2, you're going to get 2. If we want, I don't know, 9. Whoopsie. I did not mean to save. Oh, saving project file. Don't know why it's doing that. So if we change this to like a 9 or an 8 in this case. So 8 of them, that's fine. And then you're going to use the offset value. So offset is how much they're going to offset from one another. And then you just have to work out whether it's going to be the X value, the Y value, and so on and so forth. You can see like that's what happens if I play with the X value. It's just gonna do that, which we don't want. So we can set that back to 0. But if we go in the, I can't remember what it was. Nope, we don't want that one. So Y value. And then the Y value, when you first bring them in, they don't overlap nicely. What we could have done just to start with was have it kind of pivoted at an angle when we created it, but I didn't. However, what you can do now is you could either go into the, I've got to remember how to do this. I think the rotate value should do it. Not that one. Ooh, not that one. That one. So we can do lock position, move the Z. Oh no, that doesn't do it. That didn't work. Cancel that. Don't do it that way. There is a way to do that, but honestly, it's not going to do it the way that I wanted to, so I'm just not going to do that. Instead, what we'll do is we'll just do it manually. So if I move this here, whatever I do to this little scale, all of these scales are going to adhere to the same instructions. So if I move this like that, they're all going to rotate ever so slightly along the top. Likewise, if I were to now play with this and say I want this smaller, bigger, sideways, scale them up, scale them down, whatever I do to it. Whatever I do here, it's going to happen to all the rest of them. If I used a brush on it and started pulling things around, it's going to affect all of them. All of them will have the same result. So once you've played with your mesh and you've got something that you like, you can just say make mesh. It's very important that you say make mesh, otherwise nothing works, because you have to, those additional scales don't exist until you say make mesh. So you have to say make mesh. Once you say make mesh, if you go into your transpose menu, so by pressing W, you're going to get this little cog over here. If you click on the little cog, you can start playing with things. So for example, the ones that I use the most is taper and bend curve. So tapering gives you this little functionality and you can taper. So I'm assuming a dragon is like, I don't know, got thicker and thinner points to it. Whoops, not that. You can do something along those lines. Again, you have to say accept, otherwise you can't carry on. Little cog, bend curve. Bend curve, if you tweak over here, you can get as many or as few points as you want. Less is better. Less is easier to handle. But from there, you can start moving things around. So you can just kind of, I don't know. I don't know what our dragon friend is doing. He's doing something. But you could do something like that. That would be a way of doing it. Or you could use curves. Or you could use nano mesh. But this is probably the way that I would do it. For the initial scales, I'd probably do it this way. Probably. Maybe. I don't know. Oh, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. It's no problem at all. Yay, I did my job. Yay. Yeah, it's really fun. Like the array mesh is, it's a fun thing to play with, and when you have to remember that it exists so that you can utilize it in your workflow. It's a weird one. Bro. Hey bro. I'm thinking of switching to ZBrush. Do you have any tips? Yeah, do it. ZBrush is amazing. We love ZBrush. ZBrush is super fun. There's so much you can do with it. iPad version comes with the freedom. What is this? Oh god, I've missed out on half these things. I'm so sorry. Looks like a centipede carapace. It does, actually. It's really cool. Like, you can use it to make horns. You could use it to make wings. You can use it to make, I don't know. It's really good for monsters. Like, monster stuff is really, really good. Blah, 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 blah. What have I missed? What have I missed? What have I missed? What have I missed? Okay, so we had an enlightenment. That's good. I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm very glad. That's nice. Yay, I did my job. All right, what was the next question? We were going to talk about... We want to talk about hard surface. Yeah? We like hard surface. Hard surfaces are fun. So we're going to do hard surface stuff, and we're going to play with the ZModeler tool. You guys ready? You excited? You should be excited. ZModeler is amazing. It's a really, really fun brush to play with. So... Then we get something to mess with. What do we want to mess with today? Do you know what? I'm gonna show you why I like it. I'm gonna start with just we're gonna start with a sphere. Append a sphere. This is a sphere. Let's switch that guy off. Go back onto this one. So. Your ZModeler brush. This, I've got it set up over here, but otherwise if you go ZModeler. Happy days. So ZModeler brush is, you can use it for your hard surface. You can use it to... I'm glad you guys are excited. This is fun. I love teaching. Teaching is great. So ZModeler, it's good for doing your hard surfaces. It's good for doing detailing. It's good for straightening out your mesh. It's good for so many different things. One of the questions that I get asked a whole hell of a lot of the time when I'm working, because all of my stuff is stylized, the question I get asked a lot is, how do you make the mesh smooth? How do you keep it nice and clean and tidy? And that's because I work a lot with ZModeler. ZModeler is fantastic. So if we were to take, for example, I don't know, I'm trying to think of something to make. I use it for making clothing even. I use it for like everything. If we take this sphere, and I'm going to give it a few subdivisions because I'm going to do my usual thing where I'm going to mask out a section of it. So I'm just going to grab, I don't know, a section of this. Wonderful. Isn't it beautiful? So we can go to extract with 0 thickness, accept, and that's going to give us a plane. So this is what your plane looks like, right? Switch it on so we can see what's happening, and we can see we've got 2 different sides to the face, which we don't need. So I'm going to grab just the one, hopefully. There we go. Grab just one, and I'm going to delete hidden. If we crease the poly group, let's drop this down as much as we possibly can. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. Hey, we got a piece. So now we have a chunk. We have a chunk to play with. Your ZModeler brush gives you the opportunity to now work with this as if it was box modeling, basically. You can use it to collapse edges, you can use it to connect pieces, you can use it to extract things, you can extrude things, all kinds of wonderful pieces that you can do with it. One of the most common things that you're going to use it for is extruding. You're going to extrude your polygons. So you can, you know, extrude your polygons. So you can add thickness to it. If you go into your menus, so how the brush works, you have a brush with menus within menus. If you're hovering over a polygon and you hold down spacebar, you're going to get your polygon actions. And under your polygon actions, you've got loads of different options. These are the actions. These are the targets. These are your modifiers. Likewise, if you hover over an edge and you hit space, these are your edge actions, all of those guys. These are your targets, and these are your modifiers. Points, actions, target, modifiers. You with me so far? We're feeling comfortable. Good. So if we wanted to tidy up this mesh and make it look cute, I don't know. Let's make it nice and clean. If I was turning this into like a piece of armor, I don't know what piece of armor it is, but we're turning it into a piece of armor. First thing I would do is go in, and I tend to use the insert brush on a negative because I'm weird like that. And to use a negative of a brush, you're going to hold down the Alt key. So Alt key will just remove extra edge loops for me. And the reason I want to delete edge loops is that if I'm doing something with a stylized intent, the less surfaces that there are, the less points there are, the straighter your lines are going to be, the straighter your surfaces are going to be. It's like if you were going from point A to point B. Point A to point B is a straight line, but point A to point B to point C is going to give you a crooked line. Same thing applies here. Point A, point B, point C, straight line. So you want it to be nice and straight. And we're also gonna, I'm actually just gonna delete a whole pile of these. But now if I go over the to one of the points, I can say I want to move the point. So I can tidy up this mesh however I want it to be. I can tidy it to my heart's content. And if I'd done this with symmetry, it would have been a whole lot nicer, but we don't have symmetry running, so tough. So you can tidy your mesh, make it nice and pretty, and say, ah, yes, this is indeed the shape of the thing that I wanted to create. This is what my shoulder armor is going to look like. You can then go to extrude. So if I hold down spacebar over one of the polygons, go to the extrude option, which is over there, and you've got different options over here for your target. So we've got polygroup all is the one that I use a lot. You can also use polygroup island. So polygroup island would do the same thing at this point because we've only got one polygroup island to play with anyway. So we can just pull it up to extrude. And if you pull it up a second time, you've extruded it a second time. And now if we go to the side one and I extrude that out, we've got ourselves a nice little shape to play with. With this nice little shape that we're playing with, if I hover over the edge and I'm on my insert menu, if I remove that edge, we've now collapsed it down. And with that, we start getting a decent shape to work with. So if I were to now, hover over an edge and say crease, I can crease the edge, which is just going to give an individual edge, or I can crease edge loop partial, which is going to run it through to wherever it forks out into a different line. Or I could say, oh, I don't have a good example, edge polyloop. There we go. So creasing the polyloop will crease the entire polyloop the whole way around to the best of its ability. So it's going to try and grab it and go all the way through. So for this, if you want to do something cool with creases, we're going to just crease these little edges over here, these individuals. Crease there, crease there, crease there, crease there, crease there, there and there. And creasing is going to hold it in place. It's almost like you're adding edge loops that don't exist. They're like imaginary edge loops. Holding edges is the right words for it. So with that shape in mind, this is how I make a lot of my stuff. You guys have probably seen it. If you haven't, trust me, this works wonders. If you hit dynamic, so dynamic is an option under your geometry menu. You'll find it in here, dynamic subdivision. Dynamic subdivision allows you to create subdivisions that aren't technically there yet. They aren't real. They haven't been applied yet. So you can work with it as if it has subdivisions. You can see what it looks like if it had those subdivision levels without actually applying them, which gives you more mobility in going backwards and forwards between the things that you're working with and gives you more chance to fix and change and adjust rather than committing to it. If you're working with something like Dynamesh, where you Dynamesh it out and you get all of these different polygons, you're kind of committed. The only way to fix that is then to ZBrush back down, in which case you're losing details. And that's why it's important when you're working on your sculpts, when you're working on your characters or your environments or anything else, work methodically, work in stages, start low poly and then build your way up. Don't jump into high poly straight away. A lot of people will jump in and go like, oh, I can Dynamesh and I can Sculptris Pro and I can pull a million, billion, gazillion poly points out of it and it's all hunky-dory. You can, but you're never going to have a neat, clean looking mesh. What you want to do if you do that workflow is you want to ZBrush back down to get decent quads to be working with. So back to our example. This is a whole ass lecture that I'm giving. In this example, we now have some other options to play with that are really fun. If you have a look here, there is a crease menu. Now your crease menu adjusts and affects how these little crease lines work. You can see these little creases like there. You can see like the little speckly lines. So these are going to be adjusted by what I tell it to do here. And the crease level is what we want to play with the most. 15 is a sharp crease. Let me switch this on like that so you can see what it's doing. So if I do 0, we have no crease. If we have 2, we have creasing. See? What the magic is that if you play with your dynamic smooth subdivision level, so inside the dynamic menu, there's a smooth subdivision level. This gives you more or less subdivision levels. So you can have 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on and so forth. As long as your smooth subdivision level is higher than your crease level, it's going to create a bevel. And you're going to get those nice stylized creases straight away. Magic! Should I save low poly versions before going to hard poly? You mean high poly? Yes. Save, always save. You should be incrementally saving your projects. You can delete them later on. Like as you go through, I delete old ones. But like if I show you, here's what one of my project files look like. So this is a guy that I'm busy working on, and I've got it incrementally saved as I've been working through it. Eventually I'll delete these and I'll just have the final one, but it's always incrementally saved. Always, 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 always. So a good example of using this method with the subdivisions and all the rest of it. Oh, when you're ready to actually work on it, you can just hit apply and then it works. So if I say apply, it's going to give me 5 subdivision levels because that's what I asked it for. Magic, right? Isn't that cool? So in our dude that I was working on in this entire project, I think I've still got subdivisions running on him. Let me see. Jesus, what a mess. What a mess I've got going on here. I've got spheres all over the place. Let's turn that one off. I can't remember where things are in this. Props. Ah, test one. Test goes away. Let's go here. Go there. Where is this guy? Hide. You. There we go. So this is the dude that I was busy working on streams a while back. And it's worked following that entire workflow for the majority of it. Got random pieces floating around in him. You can see like this. Well, actually I've done most of the sculpting on here, so I think I've lost the dynamic version of it. But yeah, everything was done using dynamic. The cloth is, yeah, all I've done with the cloth is I started with a curve. So we got a curve over there. I extracted a piece, followed that same method, and then sculpted detail in it. That with the horns. Yeah, it's cute. So it's good. Everything should have good topology on it. And if you follow this way of doing things, you're going to have clean topology. And the nice thing about that is that if you then don't want to retopologize it for like higher optimals and all the rest of it, if you don't want to optimize it to its fullest extent, you can just use that as your low poly. It is viable. It is absolutely doable. So it's a good way of doing it. It's a useful way of doing it. It's a good workflow for doing it. Wait, what hat? What hat? The horns with the hat? So that's this dude. I think I've still got subdivisions on some of this stuff. Oh no, I might have applied it all already. I'm kind of nearly done with this dude. He's irritating me now. So that's why we love the ZModeler tool. ZModeler is incredibly useful. You can use it for so many different things. If you're busy making shapes, like all your fundamental shapes, all of your modeling stuff, you can do it with that. So let's turn all of this off. Let's go back to just this guy. What's still on here? You guys off. Goodbye. Turn this guy back on. So this is our little piece of metal, whatever, that we're working on. If we apply it, then we get all those subdivision levels. But let's go back a bit. Let's see what else we can do with this. So if we wanted to make some cool details on here, for example. Actually, yeah, let's do this. Let's make some cool details on this guy. So we've applied our my brain just stopped working. We've applied our subdivision levels. So now we've got a high poly and a low poly going on here. If we go into this one, here's something else that's interesting. If we were to mask a section of it, we can then say group masked. And this is the importance of having, let's get a different color so we can actually see it. This is the importance of having decent polygrouping and making sure you understand polygrouping. So if you have something like this, right? Actually, wait, let's go back. There we go. That'll work better. So if we do this, we've got 2 different polygroups. Your ZModeler brush is going to interact well with polygroups. It likes polygroups. So with this in mind, we are going to use a whole new brush. If you press the comma button, it's going to take you to the secret menu. No, it's going to take you to the light box. You can then go to brushes, and once it loads in all the brushes, these are all the brushes that are native to ZBrush. They're just not straight away loaded into your project. So you can go to the smooth menu. You can say, what do I want to say? Smooth groups. So now my shift button is a smooth group button. I can use that to smooth that into a nice little circle. Yay! Isn't that cool? Whoopsie, wrong button. So with this nice little circle that we've created, we can now start messing around. We can start creating things. I am going to say, for example, let's delete the lower. So now we've got that. easy to work with. And if I wanted to, I could go back in and do the Z remeshing of it, but I can't be bothered. So here, again, we can say extrude polygroup and it'll pull it up. And now we're adding details. Now we are doing creative things. Isn't that exciting? Isn't that wonderful? We can start making all kinds of weird and wonderful shit while we're doing this. It's nice. It's really fun to be able to do this. So we can extrude is the one that I use the most. Let's hover over this. What else can we play with? Let's say scale. And we're going to scale. Let me show you the difference between polygroup all and polygroup island. So polygroup island, if I press scale and I scale, it's going to scale this little McGafter. Just on the top, it's going to scale here. So we can make it bigger or smaller. But if I say scale polygroup all, it's going to select everything that is in that polygroup. So everything that's red is going to scale at the same time. When this finally stops saving, we'll do that. There we go. So now if I do that, you can see the whole thing scales. Ta-da! So you can play with it. It's fun. Going back to this guy. So if we have a lovely little section like this, here's some other here's some fun things. Fun tips with Heather today. Heather didn't feel like doing actual work, so she's just giving you a list of different tips to play with. If you have something like this, what you can do is if you go into the stroke menu, and the stroke menu has got the curve functions. Curve functions will allow you to frame a mesh. And if I say frame mesh, it's going to do that, which is terrifying. And it's too much. It's too many things. We don't want that. So let's undo that. What I want is for it to create a frame around here. So if I say crease polygroup, it's going to crease literally that little circle. Now I can say, let's say that there. Now it, oh God, it's creased more than what I expected. No. Oh wait, hold on. Let me first of all uncrease. Uncrease everything. Go back. I forgot I had creases in place here. So it was picking up those crease lines there. So if I now say uncrease all, crease polygroups, that won't be creased, but that will be creased. Frame mesh, and it's picked up for some reason. We're going to ignore that for now. So it's picked up that as a curve. If I then go into my curve menus and go BC curve tube and tap on that, I get a little circle. Yay! So we can add like nice little details. If you're doing clothing or something, you can create a trim with it, or you can create like spaceship details or something like that. I don't know. But I don't know what you guys want to make, but you can make stuff. So we can make that bigger, or we can change the shape on it. What can we do? Let's go to curve. Curve modifiers, curve size modifier. Let's do that. Now we've got a different shape to play with. So there's all of these cool things that you can do. Like ZBrush is not just about throwing a million polygons at the wall and seeing what sticks. There's so much you can do on low poly count levels, and so much that you can like create and make, doing a more technical workflow than not a less creative workflow, but a less focus on sculpting, more focus on logical workflow. So here's another one that's cool. If you go BI, you can go to the insert cylinder brush and tap on the same thing, and it's going to insert a cylinder really badly, but it inserts a cylinder. So let's make that little. I don't know why it's gone completely off piece here. I'll go back. I think it's because I changed the size of things. There we go. So you can do something like that, which allows you to now have, whoopsie, a nice little cylinder detail added to it. It's cute. It's nice. It's fun. It's a fun thing to do. Useful, useless tips. How's everyone doing out there? Have we all learned something today? Are we feeling good? I feel like I haven't actually done anything like super useful here today. Mr. Data is getting like a whole ass class out of this. What other fun tips do I have? Trying to think. We can do curves. You guys want to play with curves? You want to see what curves can do? I always teach curves. Curves are, I like working with curves. So, right. Think about what I should show you next. I need to answer a quick phone call. I'll be back in 2 minutes. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. You ready? You want to play with curves? Yeah. I'm so glad you guys are learning stuff from this. That's awesome. That's really, really awesome. It's a good time for me to plug that. You guys should hire me to be your personal mentor. I do one-to-one mentoring. So if you want me to teach you how to do all of this stuff on a one-to-one basis, get in touch. It's fun. I love teaching people stuff. It's great. Okay. So, this lovely character is one that I sculpted on ZBrush Live. Most of the workflow is up on either on ZBrush Live or on Firestorm's stream, so you can see the whole process and how it happened. I just wanted to bring this up because I wanted to show you how I did things a little bit, just going back to that dynamic and using the ZModeler brush. That's how I got all of these details. All of these pieces were made using the ZModeler brush, and you can see dynamic is already, it's on there. So if I switch off dynamic, that's what it looks like. All of that's been done with it. Same applies. This was just extruded out of the body using the extrusion method. Exactly the same thing. All of the clothing was made in the same fashion. Everything was made in the same fashion. The only other thing that I played with really with this one is curves. So yeah, let's talk about curves. Let's talk about curves, and more importantly, let's talk about hair, because hair is something that everyone freaks out about a lot, and it's something that I cover a lot because people get scared of it for some reason, and they go out and they spend a lot of money buying hair brushes, hair tutorials, hair this, hair that. You don't need a fancy hairbrush to make hair. Hair is very easy. It's very easy and it's very fun to do. It is very simple. So this, I did this hair while I was teaching a university class. Shout out to Solent University. And I showed them how to do stuff there. And I'm going to show you the basis of what I was doing with it. So things to know about curves is that they don't play nicely if you have subdivision levels. What you want is something that has no subdivision levels to play with. So you've got a sphere, for example. And the way I did this with this character is that to get that hair floating where it is now, like these strands are not, that's where they sit. They're not connected to the head or anything. All I did was I jammed a cylinder and hid a cylinder inside there and used it as my base point. So cylinders, really good base points for working from. You ready? I'm so glad you like the design. Thank you so much. It is based on a concept from Two Art Studios. One of their students drew that. Soon it'll be ready. Soon. That's what the weapons are for, by the way. The weapons are for that girl. So with our brushes, with our curve brushes, to access them you say BC, and you're going to get all of your little curve brushes over here. The one that we're going to use the most is going to be the curve tube brush. Let me show you some of the basic functionality of it, and then I'll show you how we can use it to make hair. So if we have a curve brush, when you do that, you get that. Or no, you don't. Let me reset everything. Stroke menu, go back. Stroke, stroke. Where's reset? Reset. So normally you get, I lied. Normally you just get a straight curve that's going out like that, right? So we switched off our size. It comes like that. That's your standard curve. People get worried about using curves because the first thing that happens when you start playing with them is you like do that and all hell breaks loose and it goes off into the horizon, and yeah, everything's bad. Everything is bad. Immediately it's bad. But if you go to your stroke menu, oopsie, and open up over there, if you go to the curve option, if you then say lock start, your life becomes a whole lot easier because now I can wiggle this around and it's still locked to the start. I can go to the start of it, and if you hover over and you see that little green icon, you can pick up and move it to wherever you want it to be, but it's still going to lock that start, so you can't wiggle it out into outer space quite as easily as you were doing. With that in mind, let me get back to a nice position. When you're working with your curves, you have got two different menus that you are using at the same time, simultaneously. If you see a red circle where your pen is, that is going to give you the option to increase the size of your curve. So if I hover away from it, I can then adjust it. If you're hovering on it, you get a blue menu. This draw size is the size of effect that you're having. It's your area of effect that you are creating on your curve. So if I do something small, I can then do little adjustments to my curve. If I have something big, I can do great big adjustments on my curve. So that's something important to keep in mind. Now, with our curve placed over there, you might want to be drawing a different type of curve. You might be wanting to create a curve over the surface, make something pretty. And it's like, oh God, that's a mess. And now I've got to, oh no, so much effort. All right, but there's a way to stop that happening. So if you go into your picker menu, which is at the top over there, picker menu, boop, and you say depth, cont Z. So you have once Z or cont Z. Once Z attaches once, cont Z attaches continuously. So you can now draw all over the place. So with that, you could create, I don't know what you wanted to create. You could do designs, whatever it is. Lots of nice pretties. The other things that you can do inside this menu, which is quite useful, if you're running with cont Z running, so continuous Z, let's get a nice clean, go back to a nice clean sphere. So if we have continuous Z running and everything is still sticking nicely over the top of our surface, what you can also do is under the curve menu, there's the repel strength. And if you increase repel strength, you will be able to create little curves that go up, little wormies. These are really cool if you're doing fur, because then what you could do is you could go into your curve modifier, adjust the size. I don't know. We'll see what this comes out as, and then tap back on there, and you've got the start of a little fur piece. So you can start making little fur pieces. Yeah. You can adjust them. And we've locked the start, which means that we can adjust them a lot, which is nice. So yeah, you can make little fur pieces doing something like this if you wanted to. Going back to our lovely first strands of hair that we were messing with. So I'm going to turn off once continuous Z, and we're going to leave it on once. I'm going to close down the picker menu so you can see what I'm doing. And let's make a hair strand. So if I was to make a hair strand, let's increase our draw size and draw out a line like that. Already, because I've changed the size modifier, we've got something that kind of resembles a hair strand. It kind of, if you use your imagination, is a hair strand. Let's do that. There we go. That looks like a hair strand to me. Sort of like a hair strand. So if we get something like that, now it's really easy. Like, you can adjust it if you want it to be, I don't know, different. You can do it like that. Maybe something like that. Great. To get rid of the curve function, just tap back onto that mesh. And now if I just go Control Shift, I'm going to select that as an individual. I'm going to split the hidden. And now we're going to focus on this. So what I'm going to do is, again, we're going to go back into our Z Modeler Brush. This is where Z Modeler Brush, so useful. Z Modeler Brush, hover over one of the edges, press down space, and I'm going to my crease menu, and I'm going to say crease edge loop partial. Actually, I'm going to say crease edge loop complete. And I'm just going to grab there. Actually, no, I lied. We're going to go partial. I prefer doing partial. So if we go partial, it's not going to wrap around. It's going to stop at the end point because it doesn't know where to go back to next. So now I'm going to grab a few randomly positioned ones just to show this. We're going to grab those guys, and those have now got a crease applied to them. With the crease applied to them, we can then say dynamic. See how this is all coming together? It all comes together in the end. So with dynamic applied, I'm going to adjust my crease level to a 3 and my smooth modifier to a 4. I'm then going to go to a clay buildup brush, adjust that alpha to a softer alpha. And if I hold down Alt to get the negative version of the brush, I'm going to run that line. Ta-da! So you can already see how this is turning into a strand of hair. This is very stylized, obviously. All of my stuff is very stylized. We can do something like that. So yeah, I'm not going to do the whole thing, obviously, but you can see how this plays out. You can see where it ends up. You can do all these nice little creases, and that's just holding down the negative. You don't always have to do it that way. There's other ways that you can do things. So that's holding down clay builder, soft alpha, negative over the crease. You can also do this over the hard bits. So over the crease, oopsie. If you go over the crease using a standard clay buildup brush, you're just going to pull it out and sharpen it. If you go through the middle section where there is nothing, you're going to obviously get a nice little bulge. And you can always do the negative as well. So it depends on how you want those shadows to fall on the hair. With that in mind, you can now go... so cool. Yay, you're welcome. You can go back in here. We still have dynamic running, and I'm just going to tap on one of those crease, on one of the edge loops, and we're going to crease it out, and you get a strand. That's it. That's it. That's all there is. That's it. You're done. You have a hair strand. You do that on a few of these, you're done. Once you finish playing with it, you just say apply, and then you can go in and detail it. You can go in with a damn standard brush maybe and kind of add in some like extra little breakups just so that it looks a little bit more interesting. You can clean it up and tidy it if you want to. Some areas will be sharper than other areas. Like, do whatever you want with it. So you can do that, and then all you want to do once you've got that in place, so let's switch off with the solo option. So we've got our lovely hair strand. If you're making an entire hairpiece, what makes hair look nice and pretty is that you want big pieces, small pieces, little pieces, and so on. You want to stack and layer things to make it really attractive. So now we can just go back into our curve brush and say curve tube and add like a nice little thin one. Oh, it doesn't want to do it because we're on the wrong thing. So yeah, we can then do a nice second strand to go with it. Whoopsie. And that's going to layer up to create multiple strands to get multiple pieces. Ta-da! It's cool, right? And here's the best part of this. Let me show you the best part of this. So I'm going to turn these off. Let's go have a look at the character that I was working on. So this girl, I think some of her hair strands have still got dynamic on. I think that one. Yeah, so this one you can see it's literally still got dynamic running on it. Let me do that so you can see that one. And you can see where all the edge loops are. The nice thing about this is that once you say apply and you get your subdivision levels, so we got this one, really, really nice. I've then gone in and you can see I've sculpted in a few details, not a lot, like really not a lot, I've sculpted in some details. But now when I export this out, if I drop it to its lowest subdivision level, my retopology is pretty much done as well. Like I would delete every second edge loop in there, but it's more or less done. So you don't have to retopologize, which is nice. And it's all nice and neat and tidy. It's perfectly done. So, what else can I show you about this? Oh, let me show you one more thing, because one thing that does people falter on when they're busy working with these hair pieces is quite often the end of the hair is not, it doesn't look nice. It won't look pretty. And what you want to do with that is if you go to BMT, you're going to get the Move Topological Brush. Move Topological Brush, if you work with the Move Topological Brush with AccuCurve running, it allows you to grip an individual point, and you can just drag out an individual point to get a sharp end on it. So then you can do that, and then you got a nice sharp edge. Yay, magic. So if you have AccuCurve running, you grab an individual piece. If you have AccuCurve off, you're going to grab like a bigger chunk. That's the difference of those ones. The Move Topological Brush is really, really useful. If you haven't been using Move Topological Brush, you're missing out. It's incredibly useful. Sorceress of ZBrush. Magic. Yay. Look, the first time I made hair, the second time, third time, fourth time I made hair, it was chaos as well. Like that's the whole thing. You've got to learn to do these things. But yeah, that's how I made this character. That's how I did all the hair. That's how every strand was made. So when she came out of here and went in for retopology, the only things that I retopologized on her was the body. I think I did this because I wanted to keep the folds in with better topology. But everything else, like, it's all done with really neat, tidy topology, so I didn't have to actually retopologize most of it, which is great. It's good. Ta-da! Oh, I got another one. Right, one more thing. Bandages. Because for some reason, every character these days has got bandages. I don't know why they're all getting injured, but they are. Let's append a cylinder. So our cylinder is going to be our character's arm. That's what this guy is. This is going to be an arm. So if I were to... I've got to think about what I'm doing. Let's make that longer, make it smaller, just so we can see what we're doing. This is an arm. This is an arm. If we subdivided this a whole pile, so we got something that's nice, and we've sculpted on it, and we've done all the bits and pieces that we normally do on it, so it's kind of broken up a little bit. But if we wanted to do something where we ran a curve the whole way around the arm, so going back into our curve menu, so B, C, curve tube, let's open up our stroke menu again, open up, and let's switch off size so we get a straight, just a straight circle. That's all we want. If we went to the picker menu, you may think that this is the right way to do it, where you say, right, continue Z. I'm going to draw on here. There. Oh God. Okay, hold on. Delete lower. Let's make a tiny curve. Oh God. We've got deflection going on. I forgot about that. Hold on. I should reset my values before I start teaching things. Where are we going? We're going to curve. We're going to switch off repel. So let's go back. Yes. So now you would think that you can just draw a curve the whole way around it. Delete lower. Like that. And oh, that's a pain. Extend that. Oh, it gets really complicated really quickly. That is a terrible way of doing it. What is a good way of doing it though is, let's switch that off. If you go into the menu of B, I've got to remember what it is, Z, you get the Z Remesher guides. And with the Z Remesher guide, it allows you to draw all over everything. So let me clear my mask. I'm going to draw a straight line, and I'm going to draw that line all the way outside of the realm. And I'm going to hold down Shift and release. And that is going to give me that. And that will then allow me to say BC, go to curve tube, boop. Magic! So if I wanted to turn this into a bandage, what I can then do is grab that as an individual, split the hidden, switch on my mesh so I can see what I'm doing. To switch on the mesh like that, it is Shift and F. And from here we can just grab this and say, I want to remove a whole pile of edge loops. Oopsie. And now you got the start of a bandage. You feeling good now? Are we happy? And then obviously, like, you can thin it out if you want to thin it out. So if we were turning this into like a metal bracelet, for example, let's make this a metal bracelet rather than bandage. So let's go back. Let's solo this out. Go Z modeler. Let's say negative insert. Let's remove these pieces. And it's a little bit skew, but that's fine. I don't really mind. I don't mind that it's a bit rough. So if I want to, okay, so let's say we did mind it being rough. Let's say we want this to be completely flat. Like, we don't want to have this slope over here. It's going to ruin everything with that slope. We don't want that. How would we fix that problem? There's multiple ways to fix it. Way number one, I could go into my Z modeler menu, hover down over the a quad, yes, hold down space and say polyloop and say, oh, sorry, polygroup, polyloop, which will allow me to then select that. which will set it into its own polygroup. Once it's in its own polygroup, you can either say split groups, or you can just, you know, grab it individually and split it. But there's other ways to do this. So what we could also do, instead of doing it that way, there is an option to go into the... I've got to think, my brain's not working. There's the polygroup menu, and you can say group by normals. And if you group by normals, it groups it by which way the normals are pointing. So now you can see where everything goes, right? Isn't that cool? So let's insert an edge loop just because I want to be able to grab that. And then I'm going to say delete hidden. If I switch on double, I can now see both sides of my mesh, which is wonderful. I'm now going to go to the Z modeler and I'm going to say extrude polygroup all. And I'm just going to pull that in to give myself some thickness. And now we have a nice clean mesh to be working with. Happy days. But wait, we want to make this a bracelet. We want it to be a metal bangle. This just looks like a big ball of poo. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do that same little bevel trick. We're going to extrude that out. Wait for it to save. Keep waiting for it to save. Keep waiting for it to save. Still saving. Right. Extrude it out. Collapse that edge. Collapse that edge. Oh, didn't like that. And for some reason it's given it the wrong polygroup, but it's fine. So you've got all your edges nice and neat and tidy. You can then say, let me do this differently. Let me say auto group, so it groups it all into one nice big group. I'm going to say I want this one polygroup, polyloop. That way. Oh, and to tell which way you're aiming, there's a little, let me go there. You can see the little orange line. That's telling you which direction it's going to try and group in, so you can get it to group properly. So if we group those guys, and then again under that crease menu that we were talking about, so there is a crease menu here, but there's also actually a crease menu inside here. There's a crease menu. So if you go into that crease menu and you say crease PG, that is crease polygroup. So those have now got creases on them. And I just want to crease these ones as well while I'm here. So I'll say crease, edge loop partial is fine. It's just going to grab that. Grab that. Happy days. Let's say dynamic. Let's see what it looks like. Let's say a 3 and a 4. Bracelet. Metal bracelet. How do you collapse edges? So it depends. There's different ways to collapse edges. So are you talking about collapsing edges or deleting edges? Deleting edges, if we want to just like straight up delete stuff, there is a delete option. So you can say delete edge loop complete, and you can delete an edge loop. The reason I tend to do it the other way, I do with insert and do a negative insert, just because I often want to like remove and add, so it makes it easier. But yeah, otherwise you can just use the delete option. If you're talking about collapsing, so you can also say hover over your individual point and say stitch and say U. You can start working on different geometry. You could also collapse edges. So if you go to edge menu, collapse, edge, collapse. Collapse. I don't use that one very often. Are we feeling enlightened? Are we feeling good? You know, you watch it so many times. Good. Or don't. Come and hang out with me. I stream every week. How are we feeling, guys? We feeling good? Big bag of tricks. Trying to think of other cool tips and tricks. Other things that I can show you. I don't know. I don't know what else to show you. What else are you stuck on? Got time for one more question. Hit me. One more question. Let's go. Insert with Alt is the negative. Yeah. So if you hold down Alt, in the same way that if you're sculpting, holding down Alt gives you the negative version of the brush. So if you have like damn standard that cuts in, Alt will cut out. Same way. Negative, if you want to do the opposite, you're going to use Alt. Oh, let me show you another one that's really fun to play with. So if you are, this one's just like a weird little, I don't know when and how you're going to use it, but I find it's one of the ones that I do use. So if you hover over the point and you say split, you can get a cool little circle, which again, then if you say, I don't know, let's say extrude polygroup island, so we just extrude the one piece. Yay! Now we've got a gem on our ring. Nice. It's exciting. And I can go here. I can say scale. Oopsie. That's not what I meant to scale. Whoa, that's not what I meant to scale either. Look, sometimes things don't work the way that I expect them to, but, you know. Yay, we made a ring. I don't know. You love damn standard brush. Once you get the hang of creasing, you're going to use damn standard less. Much less. You want to make horns. All right. Okay. Multiple ways to making horns. Wait there. Don't go anywhere. So let me find the file. Horns with horns. Horns. I can't remember where I store stuff. I've got to stop storing things so badly. Let's see. Where's Scully? Oh my god, this file is an absolute disaster. I'm hoping this is going to be the most recent version, but I could be wrong. Let's see what opens. Aha! So, this is a project that I was working on the channel 2 weeks ago, something like that. Yeah, he's just a little guy. Look how cute he is. He is a cutie patootie, and I love him. So. Okay, alright. So, with this guy, I did his horns differently. I'm going to show you a different way to doing it. This is one way to do it, though. So what I did for the horns is it's a curve, same as we were doing. So it's just a curve. And then what did I do? Curved, added all the modifiers that I do for the curve to get it to taper out, put it into the position that I wanted it, and then I used masking to get the right things in there. To do that, what you do is, let me append a sphere. Always a sphere. So let's go. Let's go. Yum. This is going to be a horn. Beep. Oh, no, it's not. God, Jesus Christ, it's definitely not. What am I doing? Stroke menu. Let's say, oh, the lock start is already on, so that's cool. That means that I can start positioning things. Happy days. And then we can just go into the functions. No, modifiers. Yes. So modifier, switch back on size, switch that on. It's definitely not how we want our horn to look. Whoa. Let's just reset that. Maybe something like that. So that's the start of our horn. And all I did with my dude was split hidden, subdivided it a bit, and then you're welcome. You're so welcome. And then all I did was I did like a freehand. Oh, we need more. We need more. So I did like a freehand version of a scale or a horn piece. Okay, this is not going to be great, but it's going to be effective. Control I to invert your mesh, And then I used the move brush to just stack those over it. Oopsie. And then I did the next piece. Oopsie. The next bit doing the same thing. And this is where store morph becomes really important, because if you don't store your morph, you can end up with problems later on. So you can do something like that, and then either mask this out or just pray that you don't screw things up. And again, using the move brush, you can then kind of move things to create those layers. And then clear that out, go into the morph, drop down my sizing, and fix. So you can see how that how this kind of works out. And eventually, once you do that, you can just kind of tidy those edges out and then go in with something like damn standard. I mean, this is a very sculpty way of doing it. So you can go in with damn standard to tidy those out and cut back in. And then you just layer them up, right? So that's one way of doing it. The other way you could do it is with the array mesh. And you usually do educational streams or just sculpt and chill. Oh no, I mean, you are so welcome. I love answering questions. It depends. It depends on how engaged people are. Like, if people are just chilling and watching, then I'll just kind of carry on with doing stuff and explain what I'm doing. But if I've got someone asking questions, I'm more than happy to answer. Like, I'm always happy to answer questions. If I know the answers, I'm happy to show you. If I don't know the answers, it gives me something to research in my spare time. So always happy to get questions. So yeah, that's how I did this guy's original horns, these horns. But what you could do is something different. And what we're going to do is we're going to, say it with me now, append a sphere. Let's append a sphere. So with our little sphere that we've now appended, if I press W and go here, we're going to go to our taper menu, because what I want is a sharp point. Not too sharp. It doesn't need to be like, it doesn't need to be a very sharp point, but something like that. Let's say accept, press W, and we're going to scale that out so that we get the tip of a horn. Kind of looks like a tip of a horn, sort of. If you have a very big imagination, that's the tip of a horn. We're not getting into this. Everyone believe me that it's the tip of a horn. We're then going to append another sphere underneath here. And this one, we're just going to drag it down a little bit so I can see what's going on. Let's switch off that actually so I can see what's happening. So we're going to grab that one. We're going to make it a little bit bigger. And then I'm going to say taper. And I'm going to make it not a circle anymore. It's now like a square-ish. A square-ish. So there we go. Right. Press W. I don't know. Something like that. Pretend it's working for me. Okay. Use your imaginations. Let's merge these down. Say okay. Use a lot of imagination. A lot of imagination is needed here. But this is going to be the first building block of the horn that we're going to create. So if we then go into geometry, and under geometry, no, I lied. We're not going under geometry. We're going into array mesh. Array mesh on. Let's say repeat 13 times. Let us offset in the y-axis, which is going to do that. Yay! Now, if we say... I'm busy thinking. Hold on. There's a thought process going on. Let's say make mesh. Let's just scale it like that. No, let's not make mesh. Go back. Switch back on array mesh. Let's say scale... And we are going to scale... What are we going to scale? X and Y, I think. Scale that way. Not that way. That way. Right. So we've got something that looks like that. It's a cute little one. Look, it's a cute baby dragon, okay? I make cute stuff. So now we can say make mesh. Now we can go in and say... what can we say? We can say taper. So we can make it a little bit less cutesy, since you're insulting my baby dragon. Say accept. Then we can say bend curve. Horn. Sort of horn. Horn-ish. But it's a horn. So we could do something like that to make a horn. That would be like the quickest way to do it. Yum. He likes me summer image. Oh my god, it's Rodolfo Silva! Hi! Hello! Thanks for coming to the hangout. Yeah, okay, so we have a horn. It's nice. Yeah, anytime that you show a ray mesh, it's just really impressive because it looks really cool. It's just really cool to like have things go spiraling off into the distance. What else can I show you? You got 10 minutes. You got 10 minutes left. Last question. Last question. Anyone? Otherwise, I'm out of here. I'm done. I've been talking solidly for 2 hours. I'm really proud of myself. And no one got hurt, which is nice. It's been a good stream. We covered a lot today. It was a very educational stream. You guys are so welcome. It's been really, really fun doing this. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming and hanging out on this. It's been really, really... I've really enjoyed it. Mr. Daly, you are so welcome to come and hang out on all of my streams and just bombard me with questions. What do you mean, what already? I've been here for 2 hours. You what already? You joined at the end. It's not my fault that you got bad timing. Aren't you streaming straight after this? I'm pretty sure you're streaming straight after this. Anyway. It has been an absolute blast. Today's been so much fun. It's been really, really good. I think we've covered so much stuff. We started off by going through retopology. We went into curves. We went into array mesh. We've talked about the Z modeler tool. We've talked about hard surfaces. We've talked about hair. My God, we've been talking about so many different things today. It's been a really, really good stream. I've really enjoyed being able to share information with all of you guys. It's been really, really fun. So yes, thank you so much again to Maxon ZBrush for allowing me to stream on their channels. It is an absolute honor and such a privilege to be able to share my knowledge for what it is with the audiences here and to get to interact with all of the lovely people that come and watch. Don't forget to make sure that you go and check out all of the other streams. If you like the one that I've just done now, go and check out all of the other streams that are on the channel. I have done loads of work here, so you can see that character that you all liked. You can see literally the start to finish of it is in here, so you can watch how she came to life. That character is currently, I don't know where she is at the moment. She's getting retopoled. No, she's being textured at the moment. Or you can just come and, I don't know, hang out on my other streams. I stream here every Wednesday. I stream on Firestorm Studio every other Tuesday or every Tuesday. So yeah, you would be welcome to come and hang out. Rodolfo, look, I finally finished this stupid thing. It only took me nearly a solid year, but we finally got around to finishing him. It is an actual miracle. I started this this little pumpkin dude, the little Scuddy guy, on the Halloween stream. Yee. All right, I'm out of here. Guys, don't forget to be good. Be good to yourself. Be good to other people. Go and touch some grass. And yeah, you guys are amazing. Have a wonderful week, everybody. Bye.